Welcome everyone, I'm Noreen Lacey from the Research Development Office, and with my colleague Ciarán Quinn from the library, in this short presentation we're going to highlight some tools and resources that are currently available to you that can help unlock your research impact. So on our website, adapted from a HEA-funded toolkit, the MU Research Impact Toolkit is designed to support our researchers at every stage of the research journey, from planning and designing impactful projects to measuring and demonstrating their real-world influence. In addition, we are providing to all staff access to Epigeum's online course, Research Impact, Creating Meaning and Value. On the website, you'll find the link and access code to access this course, which will bring you directly to Epigeum's platform. Once there, if you have an account, you can sign in directly. If you don't, please register for an account and any queries can be directed to Epigeum's support team through the email provided there. Once you're in your Epigeum account, under your profile and courses, you can input the token code to access the Research Impact course. You will then see the course on your landing page. Once you click into the course, you'll find the 5 modules, and each module is designed to stand alone and can be taken at your own pace. Typically, each module takes about 40 minutes, but there's plenty of exercises in there to allow you to come back to each module again and again. Giving an overview of each module, at the end of the Defining Research Impact module, you will understand what research impact truly means and how it applies to your field. In the Planning Your Impact module, this will help you develop impact strategies and how to integrate these into your research from the very start of your research journey. The Engagement and Communication Strategies module will help you discover ways to effectively engage with external stakeholders and communicate your research to wider audiences. The Evaluating and Monitoring Impact module provides tools to access and track the real-world impact of your research. The Evidencing Impact module will provide insights on how to gather and present evidence of the influence and significance of your research outcomes. The content type in each module is really varied, with a very good mix of theoretical explanations, real-world case studies. There's plenty of peer video interviews and exercises that encourage you to reflect in your own research context. So it makes it very relevant for every field. At the end of each module, you get to take a quiz to test your knowledge and gain a module or full program certificate when completed. Learner feedback from this course indicates that there's something for everyone. So no matter your career stage or where you are in your research journey, please do sign up and see how this course can benefit you. Thanks everyone for your time, and please do remember that we're here to support you in your research journey. So please do reach out to us for a tailored one-to-one meeting to discuss your research impact and any of these tools we've highlighted today. Thanks everyone.
Hello, my name is Ciarán Quinn. I'm the Research Support Librarian here at Maynooth University. So in this session, I'm going to look at bibliometric analysis tools that are available for you through Maynooth Library. So just firstly, what are bibliometrics? So there are a range of quantitative measures that assess the impact of research outputs using citation counts. And they're going to provide evidence of the impact of your research outputs. And this you can use when you're applying for jobs, promotions, or research funding. Find new and emerging areas of research and identify current and potential research collaborations. Identify high-ranking journals in which to publish, and identify, benchmark, and showcase research strengths at individual, departmental, institutional, and national level. So there are a few different types of metrics you'll find in these tools. So there are citation metrics, and these are the ones that count and analyze the number of times other researchers cite a given publication, and they'll give you insight into the levels of attention and impact within scholarly publishing. Common sources of these metrics include Web of Science, Scopus, and Google Scholar. And examples include the H-index, which measures both productivity and citation impact of a researcher. The impact factor, that's traditionally impact factor has been a key metric for assessing journal performance, calculated based on the average number of citations received by articles published in a journal over a specific period. Scopus and Web of Science are a good source of these, and Maynooth Library has both of those databases for you to use. There's also altmetrics. And these are other alternative metrics, a more qualitative approach. And this is more the attention score that your papers are getting. And there's a couple of tools that will allow you to see those as well. So the resources that you can use, and particularly the ones that we have in Maynooth, we have one called SciVal, which is a research performance assessment tool. It's used in the university rankings, so particularly important, that one. We've Scopus, the citation tracking database, and they're both by the same company, Elsevier. Web of Science is a citation tracking database, that's from Clarivat. Google Scholar Citations, and this is a web search engine that tracks citations for scholarly literature. And we've Overton, which is an index of policy documents, and this will track policy documents and articles citing MU, and includes MU people mentions and citations in policy papers. So very useful that. And that data will actually feed into SciVal as well, which I'll get to. We've MURAL, which is the Maynooth repository, and if you put your papers in there, your PhDs and so on, you'll be able to view the number of downloads and views you're getting and then make use of those metrics. And then altmetrics data is available through Scopus and Library Search, and they're article level metrics. So this is what SciVal looks like, and SciVal is a huge tool. It has a huge data set within it and does lots of really interesting analysis of data. So the main components, it has an explore or overview function, which gives you a nice overview, say at a university level, a group of researchers or an individual. We have a compare function, and that includes benchmarking. So you can benchmark Maynooth against another university, a group of researchers against each other, that kind of thing, but really in-depth analysis. And when you're filtering it, when you're choosing, what data to analyze, you can choose by institutional, a group of researchers, and you can actually set up groups of researchers yourself. So you could build up a grouping of your department, for example. And there's a number of different options that you can use there. So SciVal, so this is just the Explore or Overview screen, and you can see down the left-hand side there's various options under bibliometrics, contributions, research fields, rankings, and so on. There's also options that look at patents, policy papers, impact. But just this one, you can see there's scholarly output, authors, field-weighted citation impact, and so on. So lots of very useful metrics in there. And this is just a listing of the top 500 authors by scholarly output at Maynooth University. And again, you can go into each of those and do a more thorough analysis on the data, the research topics, number of citations, and so on. This is just at an individual level, just looking at one individual researcher. There's the citation metrics for that individual. And again, you could play around with that and just look at different aspects of the metrics. This is the same person, they're just looking at topics and topic clusters, research areas, what is the person writing in what fields. Collaboration metrics, how is this individual collaborating internationally, nationally, and so on. Output cited by policy, so is this person, are they getting any citations in policy papers? And as I mentioned, that hooks into the data that in the Overton database. And then at a university level, there's Maynooth University, the breakdown of the subject areas of Maynooth. Lots of interesting data there. Topics and topic clusters, again at Maynooth level. Benchmarking, so this is now moving into the compare section. So this is where we're comparing different universities. We have a listing of colleges, institutions there. We selected those entities and now we're able to compare them, in this case in astronomy and astrophysics, for field-weighted citation impact and publication year. Next one is popping up here now, again, more benchmarking, but in this case it's by department. So these were departments that were set up as groups of researchers, and we're able to compare the different departments with each other across all subject areas in this case. And just looking at collaborations briefly, again in the Explore function. So these would be current collaboration, in this case a listing between different universities we're collaborating with, but you can also do that internationally. The impact module that I mentioned as well, so this is where you can go in and look at the impact in terms of policy papers. So you can see the listing there, policy impact, output cited by policy, policy metrics, and so on. Patent impact, so for the patents that are included, you'll get an impact of those as well. And you can go into university rankings as well. You see in the rankings there, you can look at university rankings as well, collaborations and impact. Now Scopus, as I mentioned, is another database, and it's by the same company that produced SciVal, and the same data, but just slightly different metrics. So you can go in quite nicely there at an author level and get a breakdown for you as an individual, your output, your H index, number of documents, and so on. And you can go and do a nice analysis of your output. And each researcher will have their own Scopus ID number, so that's something you can use, when you're applying for funding or going for promotions and so on. And you can also look that up at a Maynooth level, so you can get a Maynooth output as well within Scopus. Web of Science, again, you can look up author metrics. So there's Conor Callan, there's his output. Again, you'll get his H index, number of papers, and so on. Total time cited. Google Scholar Citations, you just register with them, set up your profile, and then you can add your papers into that. So you can pull them in from Google Scholar. And again, you're going to get your profile, you're going to get your H index, and various other metrics that might be useful for you when you're promoting your work. Overton policy citations, as I mentioned, this is the Overton database, as that feeds into SciVal, but also you can look that up in the ATZ of databases on the library homepage. And this is the world's largest searchable index of policy documents, guidelines, think tank publications, and working papers. And you can get some nice metrics in there as well, you know, where your work is appearing, where Minute's work is appearing, and so on. Then the alternative metrics, you'll see these little kind of donuts. And each color is a different type of attention that your paper is getting. In the case of Scopus, it's a tool called PlumX Metrics, measures it. With Library Search, it's alt metrics. And it'll even be things like, you know, who's tweeting, who's downloading, who's viewing your paper. That's all in there. So quite a useful, more qualitative measure of your work. MURAL, this is the Minute archive, and again, you can go into your individual papers and you can look at their downloads and views, and you'll get some alt metric data in there as well, which is quite nice to have. And this is just the link in through Library Search. Again, you'll see the colored donut and the link to the paper and that alternative metrics involved. For more information on this, you can go to the library guides and tutorials and into the research support page, and I have a guide in there on measuring research impact, and you get a lot more details on the whole overview of how to measure impact and the different tools available for that. Any queries, feel free to contact me here in the library, Ciarán Quinn, Research Support Librarian, and that's my email address there. So thank you for your attention.